Hey everybody, this is Olga with AskYourSoul.org. Hope all of you are doing well. So today I wanted to record an audio on forgiveness, as you can probably tell by the title of this video/audio. So I recently got this little book, and you know how much I like little books, where I know that I'm hopefully going to read all the way through without losing interest. So I got this one book by Emmet, and it's called The Golden Key and 22 Additional Essays, and I'm totally going to link it below. It's literally only 43 pages long, you guys. You know, if you're into small books, you're going to love this one. Anyways, so I was just reading like a few excerpts here and there, and Emmet, I don't know too much about him yet, but what I do know is that his teachings are super similar to those of Florence Scovel-Shinn, and I believe that she has even studied under him. I just vaguely remember reading that somewhere, but I'm not totally sure about that. So either way, they're very, very similar, and I do really love Florence's work, and I find that Emmet's work is even more, not user-friendly, but it's like easier to read. Here's the thing that I don't particularly love about any of those readings across Florence, Neville, and Emmet. I don't love the fact that they're always making it so biblical, you know, like very much related to the Bible. If you're into that stuff, you're gonna love it. I'm not, so it's kind of something that I've just come to accept, I guess. So anytime if I hear anything about Jesus, I just imagine the word God, and that makes it easier for me to kind of integrate this knowledge and to accept it. But that's just me, so maybe you're not even going to have any problem with this at all. And I also think that it's really important to focus on the message itself versus, you know, assigning any kind of labels and making it all about the Bible or whatever, you know. The reason is that Bible has a very much of like a religious connotation to it because we automatically think Christianity. But this is not what this is about. And if you're into conscious manifesting, you already know this. But regardless, I just found this little essay on forgiveness, and I don't know why, but I just kept hearing this voice in my head that like, this is the one I need to record on. Maybe it's just something that I have to deal with personally, or maybe this is something that you guys need to hear. And like I said, it's just a little essay, and I'm just going to read the excerpt towards the end of this essay, so you'll kind of get the gist. Okay. If your prayers are not being answered, search your consciousness to see if there is not someone whom you have yet to forgive. Find out if there is not some old thing about which you are very resentful. Can we all relate to this, or what? Search and see if you're not really holding a grudge. It may be camouflaged in some self-righteous way against some individual or somebody of people, a nation, a race, a social class, some religious movement, of which you disapprove perhaps, a political party or whatnot. If you're doing so, then you have an act of forgiveness to perform, and when this is done, you will probably make your demonstration. If you cannot forgive at present, you will have to wait for your demonstration until you can, and you will have to postpone finishing your recital of the Lord's Prayer too, or involve yourself in the position that you do not desire the forgiveness of God. Setting others free means setting yourself free, because resentment is really a form of attachment. It is a cosmic truth that it takes two to make a prisoner, the prisoner and a jailer. There is no such thing as being a prisoner on one's own account. Every prisoner must have a jailer, and the jailer is as much a prisoner as his charge. When you hold resentment against anyone, you're bound to that person by a cosmic link, a real, though mental chain. You're tied by a cosmic tie to the thing that you hate. The one person perhaps in the whole world whom you most dislike is the very one to whom you are attaching yourself by a hook that is stronger than steel. Is this what you wish? Is this the condition in which you desire to go on living? Remember, you belong to the thing with which you are linked in thought, and at some time or other, if that tie endures, the object of your resentment will be drawn again into your life, perhaps to work further havoc. Do you think that you can afford this? Of course, no one can afford such a thing, and so the way is clear. You must cut all such ties by a clear and spiritual act of forgiveness. You must lose him and let him go. By forgiveness you set yourself free. You save your soul. And because the law of love works alike for one and all, you help to save his soul too, making it just so much easier for him to become what he ought to be. But now, in the name of all that is wise and good, is the magic act of forgiveness to be accomplished, when we have been so deeply injured that, though we have long wished with all our hearts that we could forgive, we have nevertheless found it impossible. When we have tried and tried to forgive, but have found the task beyond us. The technique of forgiveness is simple enough, and not very difficult to manage when you understand how. The only thing that is essential is willingness to forgive. Provided you desire to forgive the offender, the greater part of the work is already done. People have always made such a bogey of forgiveness because they have been under the erroneous impression that to forgive a person means that you have to compel yourself to like him. Happily, this is by no means the case. We are not called upon to like anyone whom we do not find ourselves liking spontaneously. And, indeed, it is quite impossible to like people to order. You can no more like to order than you can hold the winds in your fist, and if you endeavor to coerce yourself into doing so, you will finish by disliking or hating the offender more than ever. People used to think that when someone had hurt them very much, it was their duty as good Christians to pump up, as it were, a feeling of liking for him. And since such a thing is utterly impossible, they suffered a great deal of distress, and ended necessarily with failure and a resulting sense of sinfulness. We are not obliged to like anyone, but we are under a binding obligation to love everyone. Love, or charity as the Bible calls it, meaning a vivid sense of a personal goodwill. This has nothing directly to do with the feelings, though it is always followed, sooner or later, by a wonderful feeling of peace and happiness. The method of forgiving is this: get by yourself and become quiet. Repeat any prayer or treatment that appeals to you, or read a chapter of the Bible. Then quietly say, "I fully and freely forgive X," mentioning the name of the offender. "I lose him and let him go. I completely forgive the whole business in question. As far as I am concerned, it is finished forever. I cast the burden of resentment upon the Christ within me. He is free now, and I am free too. I wish him well in every phase of his life. That incident is finished. The Christ truth has set us both free. I thank God." Then get up and go about your business. On no account repeat this act of forgiveness, because you have done it once and for all, and to do it a second time would be tacitly to repudiate your own work. Afterward, whenever the memory of the offender or the offense happens to come into your mind, bless the delinquent briefly and dismiss the thought. Do this however many times the thought may come back. After a few days it will return less and less often until you forget it altogether. Then perhaps, after an interval, shorter or longer, the old trouble may come back to memory once more, but you will find that now all bitterness and resentment have disappeared, and you are both free with the perfect freedom of the children of God. Your forgiveness is complete. You will experience a wonderful joy in the realization of the demonstration. Everybody should practice general forgiveness every day as a matter of course. When you say your daily prayers, issue a general amnesty, forgiving everyone who may have injured you in any way, and on no account particularize. Simply say, "I freely forgive everyone." Then, in the course of the day, should the thought of grievance or resentment come up, bless the offender briefly and dismiss the thought. The result of this policy will be that very soon you will find yourself cleared of all resentment and condemnation, and the effect upon your happiness, your bodily health, and your general life will be nothing less than revolutionary. So, I think we all have that, at least that one person. And at different times of life, it's a different person usually. Or for a very long time, it can be just the same exact person who has been on your mind and you're having a very hard time forgiving them. But I really loved what Emmet said about you having this cosmic link to the person that you have not forgiven. I'm sure you also have the same cosmic link to someone you love, or whatever strong emotion you're feeling towards anyone, you have a link to them. However, when it is something that you have not processed and forgiven, that link, I think of it as in terms of like draining your energy and probably that other person's energy as well. So I think that's why it's so important to let it go. And if you're just in general, like if you're into metaphysical stuff, I'm sure you've heard about cutting the cords, those energetic cords between you and someone else that you don't want to be connected with anymore. And so you just basically go into meditation and you imagine cutting this cord between them that connects you two. It can either be coming from your heart or from your sacral chakra. The bottom line is, no matter how you look at it, you are still connected to the person you have not forgiven. And that connection is not a positive one, and it is something that is preventing you from living your full life, from having more joy, from being able to easily manifest stuff. And this is why, like if you notice, when I just started reading, he was saying that if your prayers are not being answered, search your consciousness to see if there is not someone whom you have yet to forgive. So it almost sounds like a rite of passage, that you have to be able to forgive and let go of someone that is really hard for you to forgive before you can actually start truly manifesting stuff into your life. And energetically, it makes sense, sort of. I feel like it's really hard to discuss these things because they're not tangible and we can't really prove them, we can't really see them, but I guess the only way to really feel that they work is to try it and to see how it impacts your life. And that's what I encourage you to do. Because I have a feeling if you're listening to this right now, then there's definitely someone that really needs your forgiveness, whether they let you know or not, but there's just someone that's holding you back. And there is no reason why this should be the case anymore. You can always decide that, okay, today will be the day when I move on, or at least start moving on. And that determination can really change your life and how you feel, what you do, and just how your life unfolds. And I also want to remind you that forgiveness does not mean that you love that person, that you accept them, that you understand them. It just means that you choose not to be connected to them in this way. And I feel like that's a lot more powerful. Anyways, if there has been someone on your mind that you just can't seem to forgive, then I really encourage you to think of it that way. I just think that forgiving that person will make you happier and more free. And as hard as it may be, you don't want this crap to be holding you back in life, you know? The last thing you want is to have this lingering crap that's preventing you from becoming your best self. But, you know, if it's a really hard person to forgive, then I'm definitely not here to judge. And, you know, I also feel like these things always happen in the quote-unquote right time. And when you're ready to forgive and to let it go, that's when it will happen. So if it's too hard for you right now, don't be hard on yourself. Don't make yourself forgive anybody. It's kind of pointless and it's just going to make you feel like crap. So there is no point in doing that. I guess like all we can really do is just be open enough to allow this possibility in at some point, you know? But anyways, I feel like I'm just rambling at this point. Thank you all so much for listening. I just wanted to kind of remind you that a part of manifestation is also letting go of old stuff that you don't need anymore. And you can also affirm to yourself that, oh my gosh, it's so easy for me to forgive people. No matter what happened, I'm having such a great, easy time letting go of all the stuff that's no longer serving me, letting go of all the people that are not for my highest good. And it's really easy for me to just let that go and forgive. And I think affirming that is super helpful as well. Okay, so to finish off this audio, I just also wanted to pull a card from one of my Oracle card decks. This one is called Soul Lessons and Soul Purpose Oracle Cards by Sonia Choquet. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. And I'm just going to pull a card. So this one is for all of you who are having a hard time forgiving someone, which again, no judgment on my part, trust me. And I just want this to be kind of like a little guidance for us and something that we need to consider in order for us to forgive this person or even the situation, whatever it is. Anyway, so just something important relating to your situation in terms of forgiveness. And we'll see what your higher self needs you to know about this situation or this person or whatever it is that's necessary for you to move on from it and to forgive and to let go. Maybe there's an important soul lesson there. That we need to understand. Okay, so I pulled a card called, it's card number 23. It's called Bust Out of Your Cocoon. And I think I'm just going to take a picture and post this picture so you can see what this card looks like, because I really believe that when you can connect with the card, you can get something out of it that your subconscious really wants you to understand, or your soul, your higher self, whatever it is that you feel is guiding you. But in the meantime, let me just read real quick out of the guidebook. I always like to do that just to see what the author had in mind, and then I'll tell you my impressions as well. Okay, it says, can you sense that one phase of your life is ending and a new one is beginning? Do you feel that you're on the verge of exciting new possibilities, but aren't sure where they'll come from? Does it seem that your life, as you know it, is crumbling before your eyes? You aren't imagining things, nor are you in danger. You're simply breaking free from past karma and releasing your spirit to a greater tomorrow. Your soul's purpose right now, like a butterfly finding its way out of its cocoon, is to shed the past and soar to new heights. You're on the threshold of spreading your spiritual wings in brand new directions of understanding and embracing your full potential. This is a very exciting time and well worth preparing for. Your soul's lesson. Clear the decks and release what no longer attracts you. Step away from things, situations, and people that bring you no joy or vitality, because you can't reach out for something greater if you don't first drop what's in your hand. You're entering spiritual adulthood, able to fully engage with life on your terms. Change can be difficult, but don't be afraid. Even the butterfly, as it emerges from the cocoon, thinks that it's dying. All that's ending is an old, stagnant self that no longer serves your spirit, so turn your fear into action. Who are you today, and what do you want to experience right now? The answer is unfolding, and you will love what you discover. Nothing stands in your way. You guys, what an awesome message! Holy crap. You know what's really interesting? Like, it talks about a butterfly busting out of the cocoon, right? But interestingly, the image on the actual card is very different. So hopefully I'm going to post the image and you'll see what I'm talking about. And it's this woman trying to escape out of a tower that has been imprisoning her, it seems. And she's actually excited to escape. You know, of course it can be easy, but at the same time, it's almost like she realized that, yes, I can do this. There's no reason why I need to just stay stagnant and keep living the same life. And I feel like how this relates to forgiveness is you forgiving whoever it is that you, or whatever it is that you need to forgive, is exactly what's going to let you set yourself free in terms of spiritually moving forward, spiritually evolving. And this is such a beautiful message of hope. It's just telling you that you have exactly what it takes to move on from all of this. You do. And it's really up to you when that happens. You don't even have to wait for anything to happen. But if you're ready to let this go, to forgive, then the second you do that, this is when you're going to feel liberated. This is when you're going to get this whole new reality that maybe you've been dreaming about or waiting for. So, I don't know, to me, this almost feels like you not forgiving somebody is what's preventing you from living your fullest life and from new opportunities entering your life as well. So maybe this is also like that cosmic link that I was reading about earlier that is holding you back. And I think the biggest message here is just don't be afraid to move on from this, as hard as it may seem right now. I think that at the end of the day, it's going to be 100% worth it in every possible way. And I really feel like a part of you is definitely ready for this. And this is why you're hearing this message. So I don't know. This is arguable, of course, but I really feel like we don't just stumble upon like a spiritual message that we don't need to hear, you know? I really think that your subconscious or your soul, whatever you feel more comfortable with, that's what brought you here to hear this. And this is basically you telling yourself that you got it. You have what it takes to move on from this. You have what it takes to forgive. And you're ready. Believe it or not, you're ready to do this. So I'm definitely excited for you. I hope this was helpful. Sending you guys so much love and light, and thank you all for your support. And if you enjoyed this audio, I would really, really appreciate a like or a subscription. That would mean so much to me, because it's so hard to get new subscribers, especially in the beginning, I guess. And I just want more people to hear this message of hope. I guess that's my biggest hope. And so that would be lovely. Anyway, thank you all so much again. Have an amazing day or night. Sending you so much love and light and positive energy. And good luck becoming the master manifester of your life. I know you can do this. I believe in you. It's just a matter of time and persistence. Seriously, it really is. Love y'all. Thanks so much for listening again, and have an awesome one. Bye.